Thomas really helped me graduate. Honestly, I owe it to Workforce. They really helped me.
Camp, and it was just been a really good experience for us and my kids.
And they were talking about education, and kind of got me interested in going back to school too, because they offered a lot of support.
It's okay, we don't want to get shut down or anything, but I'm like, well, I'm actually here to help you guys. I have resources, I have some PPEs, I have
is honorable. And honestly, that's what I feel like when I'm working out in the community here, that I'm honored to serve my community. I'm honored to be here.
Another challenge of going through is listening to their hardships, of how some of them were losing their jobs. And like you were saying, some people had to leave their jobs because they couldn't find babies.
We provide enough PPE for people? Can we refer them to enough food banks? Will these food banks be
because these are people, and I hate to see them struggling, and I hate to have to go to funerals, and I hate to have to do, these types of
them and see how they're doing. And even if it's just a couple of extra minutes, just really asking them, how are you doing during all of this? Are you okay? Kind of thing.
I'll start us off. Good morning, everyone. My name is Joseph Quintana. I'm the Development Director, United American Involvement. We appreciate you joining us this morning. As people start to trickle in, I'll start to admit them. This is a really good opportunity for us to hear from you. We appreciate all the work that you are doing at this particular time. We know it's not easy. The biggest resource for us is each of you and understanding your voices, both recognizing what the challenges have been during the pandemic. This will assist us both with identifying how we could utilize our resources. Anything will definitely be helpful to us, even understanding where there have been lapses or anything like that. So we look forward to definitely sharing your voices. And if there's any way that we can be of further assistance going forward, just please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Miriam. Miriam, thank you.
Hi, I'm Miriam. I work with Christina and Joseph in the development department. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you so much for your time and participation in this interview. Your answers are extremely valuable to us at UAII. We want to get to know each and every one of you. Can you please give me your name and tribe, a brief overview of your background?
Hi, everyone. My name is Cheyenne Badoni. I'm Navajo, Blackfeet, and Powhatan. I reside in Carson, California. I've been there for a few years. I've grew up working in the Native American community with different organizations and also just around the powwows as well. I'm currently a student at Cal State Fullerton, and I'm finally graduating this semester, so I'm super excited.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joy Roybal Castle. And Osage, Shawnee, and Creek, born in Canada. And I've lived all over these United States because of my mom's work and settled in LA when I was about 10 years old.
My name's Desiree Chavez. I'm Navajo and Mexican. I've lived in LA for my whole life, practically. I just graduated this year. And so it's been a really great opportunity to work as a community health worker.
My name is Shandine Palitza. I'm Navajo, and I just graduated from Cal State University in Long Beach this year with a bachelor's in Family and Consumer Sciences. I'm very involved in powwows, and I have worked with TANF in the past, and I also have worked with UAII.
I'm Jessica Alvarez. I'm part of the Tohono tribe, and I've lived in Covina for about 4 years, and I've come from Northern California, Bay Area. I worked with the Native American Health Center in Oakland, California for about 4 years before moving out here.
My name is Flora Enriquez. Tewa Indian. I grew up was raised in Inglewood. I now reside in Carson, California. Pretty much this is all something new for me as well. So I'm just happy that I can add to my criteria of things that I can learn to do.
My name is Robin Cody. I'm actually originally from Saskatchewan, Canada. I am Sioux Soto Ojibwe from the Cote First Nations in Saskatchewan. I do have a 8-year military medical background. I was a hospital corpsman in the United States Navy for 8 years. And I am currently studying creative industry studies with an emphasis in graphic design from the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. And I will be graduating next semester.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kimberly Frost. I'm Navajo and I'm Southern Ute. I was born and raised in Los Angeles. And prior to this, I used to work with the AmeriCorps TCCC over in Hoopa in Northern California. And so it's just been an honor and privilege to work with UAII and to go out to do like the community health outreach. I am a college student right now and hoping to graduate, if not in the next year, maybe a year and a half from Pasadena. So we'll see how it goes.
My name's Christina Fiore. I'm Hoopa and Yurok, and I currently live in St. Gabriel. I've lived here most of my life. I lived a short period of time on my reservation in Hoopa and a short period of time in Palm Springs. This is my first job with working with a Native community in community outreach. So it's different, but I'm learning a lot, and I'm really happy that I'm connecting with other Native people in my area. So thank you for having me.
My name is Mariah Smith. I live in Los Angeles County right now. I'm in the city of Gardena. My tribe is Seminole from Oklahoma, the Great Nation. I've been a preschool teacher for 4 years. I used to work at the Jewish Community Center in Long Beach. I just finished the CNA course in July. It's a really good opportunity for me to put on my resume just to expand. So I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Did any of you have a connection to UAII prior to your employment?
My first experience with UAII, I was actually at a women's march, and I met Lupe at the women's march, and we got invited to sort of like a barbecue after the march, and she was doing her community work, and she was asking like if there were students, and I was like, yeah, I'm a student, and she like took my name and told me about UAII, and I was really surprised because I always felt like there was a disconnect out here with me and trying to like reach Native communities. Because I'm from Canada, I just didn't feel like I was accepted in certain places. But when I connected with UAII, they actually welcomed me with open arms. And ever since then, they've been such an amazing support for me through my college. And if it wasn't for them, like, honestly, like I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't have had this experience. And I'm really thankful for UAII.
Prior to this, yes, I was actually started going to the doctor here at UAII. I had originally gone to another Native doctor, Dr. Hawk in Whittier, and the receptionist told me about UAII, but at the time it just seemed really far from where I was living. It's actually not, but it took me a couple years to connect with UAII. And then once I went to the doctor there, I started seeing all the flyers on the boards for classes. And at the time I had, my kids were small. I have 3 small kids. So I started sending them to camp, and it was just been a really good experience for us and my kids.
I used to go to the community gatherings and things that were hosted downstairs by Seventh Generation. I had left for 15 years and disconnected. I was living in Arizona. So when I came back to California, all the resources were different. There is that disconnect, even if you grew up in LA, a lot of times in our community. So I had people like Lupe and Robin Thundershield and Jesse Ferrer and different people like that, point me to UAI, like, no, go ahead. I really wasn't utilizing the resources with UAI because I didn't really know what was available. I'm still kind of trying to find it out. I actually didn't know UAI was upstairs. But I kept bumping into Lupe at different events, and she always was representing UAI Workforce and everything. She was kind of like, come on, sister, come and check out UAI. And I was like, yeah, okay, I will. And finally I did. And then I linked with Shai. And then Shai was super amazing because Shai talks to me like I need to be talked to, like, are you going to get yourself together? What are you going to do today? And I was like, okay, yes, ma'am.
Well, my first experience with UAII was actually through a relative because I was trying to look for work while taking online classes at the time. And she referred me to the workforce development. And so once I got into there, I started taking like workshops, and then I started, they give out incentives like gift cards and everything. And that really helped. So, it really piqued interest because they have like Microsoft Word, Excel workshops, and that was something to kind of like help with my skills.
So it was about a year ago, last summer, I reached out to Walking Shield And my daughter is a college student. And so we're just looking for resources for assistance for her because it can be costly. So Walking Shield was having a grand opening because they relocated their office. So they invited us. We went. They had a couple of other Native organizations there, and UAII was there, and Lupe was there talking about education, and kind of got me interested in going back to school too, because they offered a lot of support.
I kind of grew up around UAII with my family being involved and working with UAII. So like my mom and some other relatives worked there, and I kind of was brought into it. But how I really got involved is when I became a counselor for the clubhouse. And from there on, it kind of peaked on, and I enjoyed it so much. I continued to take classes in cultural development there, and also just workshops for other things that they offer. Then when I got into college, I joined Workforce. I was referred to it by other people, and also Lupe. Lupe really pulled me back into the community because I kind of fell out, and she saw that I was seeking aid and I needed help.
My first connection with UAII would actually be earlier this year. Thomas really helped me with aid to go to school. Honestly, I owe it to Workforce. They really helped me.
So my first memory with UAII would probably be when I was very little. I can't remember when, because my family has been involved with United American Indian involvement for a very long time. Doing this job, I've actually ran into people I know, so it's great.
Back in 2012, I believe, I had a cracked tooth, and at that time I didn't have any insurance, and my mother is the one who told me to go to UAII. So I went, and they did the referral, and they sent me to a dentist. From there, I kind of always kept UAII in the loop.
What has inspired your work the most?
I'm most inspired by the fact that I actually feel like I'm helping people that need these resources. They seem really thankful that I'm taking the time to connect to them and make sure that they get the information that they need.
People thanking me and thanking UAII for reaching out and helping them. A lot of people saying that's so awesome and they're happy. So that really put a smile on my face that, okay, I'm doing something positive.
Just be a part of this group and then have connections with Native people out here, because I didn't have a connection with my community for so long, being out overseas, being deployed, and then being so far away from my family. It was getting to me, and having this community actually just lit a fire under me.
A couple of times that I've talked to people when I have reached out, they have expressed their gratitude that they've just even had somebody just to speak to during all of this.
It's a really good feeling, and it feels really good inside just to know that I can help somebody. And they also thank UAII, and they say that we're doing an amazing job. So it's just a really good feeling seeing that I can make an impact in this, community.
It's amazing. Thank you so much. What have been your biggest challenges working as a CHW?
So one of the challenges I had is reaching out to people and no one answers. So then I call back.
Just talking to people in general, I'm pretty timid. I'm not much of a talker, but it's getting easier. The more and more I do it, the more comfortable I get doing it.
Another thing a little bit was challenging for me too sometimes was the outreach, because there are certain businesses I would go in and then I would tell them my name and introduce myself, and they would kind of be hesitant, oh no, it's okay. We don't want to get shut down or anything. But I'm like, well, I'm actually here to help you guys. I have resources. I have some PPEs. I have hand sanitizers. I'm the total opposite.
So I don't particularly think that there were too many challenges for me. Maybe besides the information and then learning how to figure out how to enter the data into the tracker. I think that was maybe one of the challenges.
The tracker, figuring out the proper steps to use the tracker, completing all the trainings within a timely manner. And then also leading into, in the beginning, when we had to do our calls, I was getting a lot of no answers. So I kind of had to figure out a pattern to a time frame that I need to call people, which is a better time frame to call people. So I kind of tried it from morning to afternoon to evening to seeing which one was better. And then also kind of putting in the tracker at the same time so I can adjust everything within a timely manner. I understand that another challenge of going through is listening to their hardships of how some of them were losing their jobs. And like you're saying, some people had to leave their jobs because they couldn't find babysitter, or Some of them couldn't handle the process of working and also going to having their child in school.
I go through, describing all the PPE that I could give to them, and also UAII's resources, and they still deny it. It's kind of hard for me because I'm like, I could help you, and if you, it's like, but I have to accept it. I always tell them, if like you may not need it right now, but if you ever do in the future, please like call me back or send me an email. Like, it's no problem. It makes me feel good. Like, I am helping people. Even if they don't request PPE, they know that resource is out there for them.
Ditto to what everybody else said. In addition to that, for me, it's been a lot of emotional stuff that comes with this work. I deal with a lot of the homeless population, the incarcerated population. That's hard when our people are being released in the middle of a pandemic and they don't have resources. For me, it's been more of an emotional thing, I think, and trying not to get too personally involved, because these are our people, and I hate to see them struggling, and I hate to have to go to funerals, and I hate to have to do, these type of things. That's the hard part for me. But I love that I can do this work, and that I can be a problem solver, and that I can connect the pieces and try to help people through.
What has been your biggest concern?
I'm exposed to a lot of people. And so that's scary.
How long this is going to go on. I think in the beginning, people in general were really precautious about what they were doing and trying to take all the right steps to protect their families. But the longer that this has gone on, I feel like people are getting complacent. They miss their family. They want things to be normal. They want normalcy for their kids. They feel the long-term strain on their finances.
Resources. Do we have enough? Because there's so many people, and I'm wondering if we can cover everything. Can we provide enough PPE for people? Can we refer them to enough food banks? Will these food banks be available to them as many times as they need it? My
biggest concerns during this pandemic has been just the uncertainty of everything. Am I carrying it? Who am I giving it to? Even if I'm being careful, am I still somehow leaving it, or am I going to get it? And even if I do get it, or if I give it to somebody, is it going to be bad? Is it going to be like, am I going to be unaffected?
I have elderly parents, so I can't see them or visit them really. I can only do it through the window, and I'm just concerned about them possibly getting it.
I think as community health outreach workers, there are some risks associated with that. Going out into the community, we are accepting that risk. When we're talking about risks, virus is running rampant through the globe right now, and that we need to be out there. We need to tell people how important it is to wear your mask.
I feel like a lot of people are concerned about housing, and same with us in a sense, because housing is so expensive and a lot of people are losing their jobs. People who had to leave their jobs or whatever the case may be, a lot of people are afraid of losing their housing. They may not have somewhere to live after this quarantine. So speaking to a lot of clients, a lot of people did need aid with housing, and a lot of them had a lot to say about how they were just scared about their family, what they were going to do and where they were going to go after they released the quarantine process. So everyone's just a little scared about that.
Honestly, like they say that we're all like 2 paychecks away from being homeless. And literally, like I was looking for a job. Like I was in school. And then I'm looking for a job because I was actually working in the entertainment industry as a makeup artist and fashion stylist. And then I had to pivot and change. And I'm like, losing that sort of income, and then, trying to figure out like, okay, where am I at and how can I move forward?
During Thanksgiving, there was a couple of families, they were really in need. They said that they had sold out and they had to go to like Orange County. And I know that's kind of just one of those like supply and demand issues with the food. But another thing that I kind of came across was like mental health. People's mental health is kind of like dwindling, and it's expected during a pandemic. Like I'm trying to like, you know, keep positive and everything. But I've noticed like alcoholism, drug use and everything, and even domestic violence. Like I've known friends and close people, like they're going through some pretty tough times, like, you know, divorce and everything.
It's only so much that I can do, and it's not enough resources and help. And if you know, if everyone can just understand, it's a lot on all of us. Even with the kids and the COVID, the kids are stressed out. The kids don't want to sit too long, and I feel with the school, they they lack resources because they should be giving these kids more activities, more science, like, you know, more hands-on things, like worksheets. Everything is online now. We want you to do your homework this way and that way, and kids still need the fundamental, and they still need to use their motor skills. And so it's a lot on the parents. So I feel like that's one of my biggest concerns is just the children and the mothers, because the mothers are stressed out. I know a lot of mothers and teachers that are stressed out, but it's just all like everyone's supporting each other.
Yeah, and that's so helpful because you do have an early childhood background. So you really, Is there anything that they're telling you that they need more of?
If we're talking about community members that are experiencing challenges, they don't have access to these things. People can't afford to go spend $5.99 and $9.99 on hand sanitizers when they're homeless. They can't.
And toilet paper, those things, their businesses are price gouging, like Joy said. And then there's lack of resources the stores provide. They always run out.
The Lysol cans, like even the wipes and probably toilet paper.
The cleaning supplies in general, mostly the wipes and the disinfectant sprays. But I have had people ask me where they can find children's masks for their kids, that a lot of them are saying they can't find the mask that properly fits their older child that should be covered. And that's one thing that they did ask in the packets that we do send out. Do we have any kids mask in that? And I have to tell them, unfortunately, no, not right now. You know, it's only adult mask, but you can try the technique of where they twist it and loop it over their ears to try to help secure it a little bit better.
One thing that people have mentioned to me is if we have gloves, and I haven't been able to give anybody gloves yet, but I've been able to give them sanitizers. I do have wipes now that I was just given, so I've been able to give people wipes, and they're very appreciative of that. But I know for sure it was the wipes and gloves that people were asking a lot for.
Since all of you link people to services across LA County, are you finding that there are any services that are needed but not being currently offered?
Housing. I know a lot of people need housing and they're asking for rental assistance. Where can they go to get rental assistance? Where can they find resources for housing? And that's very, very limited right now.
My clients are just asking for housing and rental assistance, and that's something that we aren't offering. So that's all they're asking for.
COVID testing. I tell them that UAII is still COVID testing. So I'm pretty sure that's the most that they ask about.
What they're asking me for is the COVID testing, and I direct them to UAII as well for the clinic.
What do you feel UAI's first priority should be as an organization?
Housing and mental first, because you can't move forward in life if your mental is not straight. So housing would definitely be number one to prioritize, in mental, and then after that would be the health.
During this process, I have been dealing with tribal TANF and counseling services and all sorts of different things that they want me to jump through hoops and do. And when you're homeless, it's a little hard. You don't have a printer in your back. You don't have these resources to print out these documents and get them back to them right away. You don't have a car to go to a lot of these places. There are a lot of things that people don't understand that are barriers. A lot of organizations forget, unfortunately. They're so busy checking boxes and making sure that everything is in line as far as the paperwork side of it so that they can continue getting the money, but they forget about the fundamentals of what people are going through every day. So once the vaccine is available, if somebody's homeless, they don't care about a vaccine because they're trying to make sure that they have somewhere to lay their head, to make sure that their children are safe.
Housing and mental health should be a priority. Just like Mariah was saying, you can't fix anything else unless your mental is good. And I think after this pandemic, mental is what everyone needs help with.
Mental health services for not only children, because I feel like they're not likely to make that connection that maybe they need those services. It would be more information to the parents, like, hey, look for these signs, like, depression, or, not wanting to go to school, or, bad behavior. All these things can indicate that maybe they need some mental health services for their child.
Those are such great ideas. Thank you so much. What do you hear most from the people in the community about the pandemic? Do they share fears, frustrations? Are they hopeful for the vaccine? Are they fearful for the vaccine? What are you hearing?
I hear some people who are like, they're kind of neutral about it. Like, if I have to take it to go to work, I will take it. And then I have some people who are like, I'm not taking it. There's no way that they could have come with the vaccine or with the correct formula within months. It takes years and generations. Or people are going to become sick after the vaccine. Like, what are the precautions? What are the effects that are going to happen of taking the vaccine? So people kind of want to see what the first flow, I believe, of people taking it first, to see the result, to see what really happens to the people.
So what I've been hearing a lot is they can't wait to see other people, their friends, their family. I've connected with people that I've seen in the powwow, and they're just like, oh, I can't wait to go to a powwow.
What one word would you use to describe the pandemic and its effect on you?
Woo! And it is an actual word. It means express sudden excitement, astonishment, or relief. And I feel all those things all day long. Like, we don't know what to feel. We feel all of those emotions. It's like, woo! Sometimes like, woo. Sometimes like, woo.
Yes, I love that. Also for me, I know it sounds a little bit off, but clarity. Through the storm and the darkness, I was able to find clarity in it, in a sense, because it kind of gave me a self to take time to focus on my own well-being and my own mental well-being, in a sense, because I was always on the go, on a rush, trying to keep up with society. And with this being home and everything, I've been able to focus more on myself, clear my mind out, focus on things I need to get done, focus on my path line, and also just hammer through my semester. And I'm so proud of myself for the things I've accomplished.
It might sound strange, but traditions, because before, we weren't really focused on what's important. We weren't focused on our culture, really.
For me, it would be family and friends. You don't realize how much you take advantage of the everyday people and your interactions. And sometimes it's just your family and friends who are your main, who you don't think of to reach out to all the time or check in on.
I would probably have to say like grateful. I've always been grateful for everything, but just like, there's a lot of things that kind of take it for granted, like waking up in the morning and just like walking around the block and just like little things in life.
I'm fearful for my health, the health of my family and my friends. I have a financial fear, and just fear for just the general future.
Family. I'm able to spend more time with my children.
Courageous, only because it's not something that we wanted. It's just something that came upon us, and we had to stand on our two feet and stand strong and fight it.
Uncertain, just because I feel like that describes every single thing.
Is there someone on your team or within UAII that you'd like to highlight for their support of you?
I'll say Christina Ramos. She's been really awesome and great with me, very understanding with my kids and my situation. She's been, very supportive, just pushing me to be a better mom, just pushing me to be a better client, better person to finish school. Even though sometimes I get kind of stuck where I don't want to do anything because I'm like overwhelmed. Like, she pushed me like, hey, this is out here, go do it. It's out there and take advantage of it. And I really appreciate it, because sometimes we need the motivation and the little push.
There's 3 people I like to highlight, actually. So the first one I would like to highlight is Lupe Lopez. She kind of pushes me through to utilize the resources through UAII, and then also to kind of stay on track with just my personal life and also my school. So I'm very appreciative of that. And then also Gustavo Gutierrez, he's my workforce counselor, and he's also amazing. He's always touching bases with me, even though sometimes things get really hectic and I kind of lose track of everything. And he still constantly touches bases with me. He doesn't lose touch with me. So I really appreciate that. And then also I've grown to know Shy, and I really appreciate the things that she teaches me, and she pushes me in the right direction as well. And I appreciate it.
I would like to 3 people also. The first person would be Lupe Lopez because she really helped me with the workforce development. And she helped not only me, but my family as well when everything was a little crazy. But she helped me really get on track with my schooling and made sure that I had the resources available. And the second person would be Thomas. He was really easy to work with. He made sure that I was always up to date with information and everything. And the third person would be Susan Jackson. I don't know, she's with 7 Generations, and I've worked with her in the past, and I really like her work that she does.
I want to thank Renee Williams for all the work she does for all of us. Because I noticed that since, she's jumped in, like there's been a lot of amazing things that have been happening. So I want to thank her. And of course, Lupe, thank you. Lupe doesn't just love me, she loves my son and all of our children. She looks out for all of our kids, and she's a strong woman warrior, and I'm honored to know you and work with you. And Shy, I love you. Just the UAI staff in general is just amazing. Even the little bit that I've worked with Thomas and Jason and everybody, you guys are so professional and on it and everything. So thank you for the representation. And
Actually, I have a couple people to announce also. First and foremost, Tensha, she was my recruiter for the workforce development. She signed me up, told me all the information. And the second person was Shelby. Shelby, she's my workforce specialist. She's awesome. She sends me emails. She'll call me and everything, tell me about like opportunities, positions, and everything. And of course, my team leader, Lupe, she's an awesome team. She works with us really great, and she calls us. She'll send us emails, and she makes sure that we're on top of like what we're supposed to do. And yeah, those are the 3 people I want to mention. They're very awesome.
I'd like to thank Tensha because she's real supportive and she can relate to me and my children's situation. Or, it's kind of hard when you have young children and you need to work and you're struggling a little bit, and she recognizes that, and she just calls it and does what she can. And then Lupe too, she was really great, resourceful help, and she's really a great mentor as well. She's someone that I can look up to because she's a real go-getter. And just all the UAII staff is real professional, and they have that same common goal, is to help each community member that are involved. So thank you, everyone.
I've really connected with is Christina Fiore. She was actually on my call log, and I called her, gave her my spiel, and she was like, "Oh, I'm on your team." So we kind of bounced the ideas off of each other of how we can talk to people, how we can help them the best. I've worked with her here at the office. We've been packaging PPE boxes.
Is there a message of hope that you can share with our UAI community during this very challenging time?
We are all warriors, and we all have to stand straight with our heads up high and to not give up. And at the end of the day, it will be okay. And if it's not okay, then you still have to wait and keep looking forward for faith.
Don't forget that we're all a team and we're all together. So, if we need to reach out for help, or, if your supervisor is not available, everyone use everyone as a resource. We're all working together.
we're still here, period.
Support each other as best we can.
Our relatives in the past have gone through some terrible things, and we've come out of it.
I just think same thing as before, this too shall pass.
Kindness as well. Kindness to check in on others and make sure they have what they need as well. Sometimes we have a little
Our
extra
community,
that we can
she's really into it.
To take it day by day.
Well, this has been a phenomenal interview. Thank you so much. It's been very helpful.
Thank you all for your tremendous words and especially your time. We appreciate all the work that you do for our community. You all are tremendous representations, not of just this organization, but of the community whom we serve. I just want to say a sincere thank you on behalf of our organization to you for the wonderful work that you're doing, for your commitment of service to our organization. So we're excited at what the future lies, and a lot of what you all have shared today is going to assist us with that.
Thank you, everyone. It was great talking with you. Hope to
And thank you, Miriam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.